taken this time after time after time, and those wounds, man, they never heal right. Been shaken and won't know the pain, 'cause that's all you'll hear in your brain. Will it all be okay if you fall back in limbo? your fist. Now you lay in a cell with your tears. Will it all be okay if you fall back in limbo? I watch the waves they take you in as I pour away your walls broken. I hate to relate to all your sin, so I won't be afraid of my nightmares again.
I swear, every time that song comes on, I'm just dancing over here. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm
Good
doing all
morning.
right.
What time is it there now? Just
It is 18 past 8 in the morning.
18 past 8 in the morning? Oh,
Yes.
oh man, I was thinking it was going to be a little bit earlier than that for you.
No, it's not. It's actually not too bad. It was more. John messaged me, or you messaged me at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock or whenever it was, and I was like, 6 p.m. I was like, yeah. I was like, wait, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm like, and I looked up the time difference, and I was like, I should probably get to bed right now.
I can't look. I wouldn't have been able to calculate it. I would have been like, what? Eastern, what? Yeah. Yeah.
Man, well, I mean, you kind of get used to it being here in Australia because, like, there's a bit of radio support, a very minor bit of radio support for Australia in the rock and metal scene, but most of the radio support comes from overseas. So
Right.
you get used to, okay, Germany wants to do a radio interview. All right, that's definitely going to be in the middle of sleep zone. America, it just kind of depends on when it is. Like,
I love it.
early evening or early morning for you guys, that's actually not too bad because it kind of falls in decent hours for us.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to come on. Although I've never been to Australia before, that sounds pretty cool. And I love your accent, so that's hot too. I was actually just looking at your Facebook and watching. See, I have not heard your stuff, so I had to do my homework on you before, because John just kind of was like, "Here you go." I was like, "Okay." So what do you have upcoming, or what are you working on right at the moment?
Well, so I'm working on a new tour, really. I between 2014 and 2018, I did quite a lot of touring in the US and a couple tours of Europe. And then I kind of took a little bit of a break in end of 2018, and I focused on an In Excess show that I've been doing, In Excess tribute.
Right.
And then the plan was to release a new record in 2020 and get out on the road with that. And it kind of didn't go the way that I planned it. So we ended up releasing the record I think it was 2021. The record came out, of 2022. I can't keep up with the year. These last couple of years, it's been really bizarre world flip. Yeah, put that out, and we've had 3 singles off of this record, and
Right.
just kind of been waiting to get over to the US, but waiting for the right time. Obviously borders to open, and when is the right timing and everything. So at the moment, it looks like we're gonna try and get something in a little later on in the year.
Well, you let me
So
know when you do, and I'll help you promote the crap out of it. So
that would be awesome.
that. So what is you performed there in Australia for a tribute? What tribute? Say that name of the tribute again.
It's called the Australian In Excess Show. So it's the music of In Excess, and it's geared as like a theater start, sort of. It's based, I guess, if you will, off of their biggest concert was at Wembley Stadium in the early 90s. So we've created full video production for the whole show. So there's
Right.
stuff going on the screens, like you're in like a full stadium, but we're performing it in theaters. And we've just kind of started that run. A couple of weeks ago, we started that off, and then that goes right the way through till, I mean, we're booked. We've got a few gaps in there for different people taking time off and other commitments and stuff like that. But we're at the moment, I mean, we're already booked through end of April next year.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
So
That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
congratulations. That's really
thank you.
cool to have that booking all the way through. You should
Yeah,
definitely come to the US for, like, our in-person interviews. That would be cool.
absolutely. Well, if we end up making it over there for this tour, then we'll definitely have to line up some in-person interviews.
Absolutely. Well, okay, let me see. Hold on. You got a question here, so I'm going to put it up down at the bottom. She says, you know damn well I'll help you promote the hell out of your shows when you
Yeah, Dawn's been a big fan for years. When I toured, I can't remember how many tours I did of America. It's probably, it would have been 6 or 7, 8 maybe.
Right.
Back, yeah, sort of when I was forming the band, because I was in a band previously called Sunset Riot that was based out of Sydney, and we did 3 tours of the US, 2011, 2012, 2013, and then the band split in 2013, and I went solo in 2014.
Right.
And it just made more sense to come over and do the US because the rock scene in Australia was very, very hard. I mean, music industry is hard anyway, but in Australia, it's just so much harder than it is in the US. It purely, I mean, rock is still very much alive in the US, and also there's a lot more people. So we've got the same landmass as the US, but we've only got 27 or 28 million people here that are kind of all spread out. So it's
you want some people?
send them over.
We can send you some people. That'd be fine.
Yeah, sure. Why not? People all the time, like over here, they'll go, oh yeah, but like, we've got all this desert land. I'm like, have you ever been to Vegas? I'm like, you fly in, there's absolutely nothing, and then all of a sudden there's like several million people just plonked in the middle of the desert. And as you're flying past, then it goes back to blackness and just this light in the back corner. I'm like, people can live in Vegas or Albuquerque or Phoenix, places like this. Like, people can live there. They can live in our desert.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, or Florida. Florida gets pretty. I mean, we have a lot of greenery, but it's still pretty hot here.
Florida, the climate there is pretty similar to where I live now. So I used to live in Melbourne, which is kind of, that's similar climate to San Francisco, I guess.
Right.
But now I've moved north, which for us means getting warmer. And it's subtropics up here, which I much prefer.
I'm sorry. She asked another question. He said he was going to be coming to the States here within the next few years. When are you going? Is going to play bass for you? Is Jason?
Well, that depends. So Jaron, Jaron has been a really good friend of mine for years. He plays on the current record. He is very busy. He plays bass for George Lynch at the moment, as well as Heaven's Edge and Tantric. Mm-hmm. So that's just going to depend on when my tour schedule comes in and whether he can do those dates or not. That's really what it comes down to. But the gig's his if he can do it. But I have a very, very small window this year in when I can actually get over. So I'm not super flexible with my dates, unfortunately, with the commitments I've got going on here.
Right. Well, you got to hold down your responsibilities before you come and have fun, sir. How did you get started in music anyway? How old were you when you started?
I got a bit of a late start in that, like, I've always played music, but as far as taking it like seriously, I would have been 26 or 27. because I did acting for a little while in LA, and then I thought that I'd missed the boat, and I'd had my chance, and I didn't make it, you know. So I moved home from LA when I was 25, and I thought, well, I had my fun, you know, I'm gonna go and get a real job, and that was kind of my headspace at the time, and I did, and I got a pretty decent job with a wonderful couple with a startup company, and I was their first employee. And then kind of a year in, I just had the itch to perform more. And I was like, man, this itch just is not going to go away. I need to just see it through until I'm done. Not when I think I'm done, or society tells me I'm done, you know, or
You always
I need
listen to
just,
those little birds on the outside that have to have those little negative comments. Sometimes you just got to shoosh them out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I made a promise to myself then, and I was like, you know, I'm going to keep going, and I'm not going to stop this, you know, performing being my focus and creating being my focus, until the day comes, if it ever comes, that I'm backstage and I'm just like, oh, I really just can't be bothered. If that day ever comes, then I'll hang up the boots gladly. But, you know, touring sometimes can get long and you miss home, you know, but there's never been a point, you know, that I've done that. And I felt like I'd give music a go because I'd already given acting a decent go. I
Right.
thought I'd give music a go. And here I am, 14 years later.
Well, I mean, they do kind of both coincide too, as well, join together, acting and singing.
Absolutely. And I did my first lead role in a feature film. I finished up shooting for that probably 4 years ago, and then it hasn't come out, obviously because of the last couple of years and all this sort of stuff. But it looks like it's very close to coming out now. And speaking of coinciding, one of my songs, "Vampires," is the credits song for that film.
Really? See,
Yes.
and you thought you didn't make it. So that's hot,
Well, I
though.
mean, the older you get, the more you realize that youth is definitely wasted on the young.
I think that is
Because
very true.
wisdom, a little experience has taught me that as impetuous as I can be, I generally have more time than what I think I do in a lot of ways.
Well, sometimes it takes the universe showing us the paths that we're supposed to take in order to make that alignment proper. And sometimes the ego gets the best of us. You know what I mean? That we think that we're belittled to this much because we're not good and we ain't made it yet, and we're just bottom shelf. But it takes believing in yourself an extra hard amounts in order to put that foot out there. And I'm very proud of you, sir. So
Well,
congratulations.
thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. Especially, I have a lot of good friends of mine. Like a good friend of mine didn't pick up the guitar until he was like 37 years old, but he's like one of the best damn guitar players I know. So it definitely I think is an encouragement to people out there that no matter how old you are, you can still follow your dreams and make them happen. So I think that's
100%. 100%. Ages. I mean, there's obviously certain things in life that they can be hurdles, or they can be obstacles. And there are times in life that you may run into obstacles with something like age,
right.
but there's always a way around every obstacle, I've found.
Right.
I mean, I often use the example of Muggsy Bogues in the NBA. If my spine is straight, I'm close to 5'9", so I'm not exactly a tall man. And Muggsy Bogues is a lot shorter than me. He's I can't remember how tall he is, but I'm pretty sure he's around the 5'6", 5'7" mark. And he was a professional basketballer for years.
Yeah.
And generally in basketball, if somebody says they want to play basketball, if they're not super tall, the first comment is, "Oh, well, you'll never make it because you're not tall." Think about how many times he would have gotten that.
Yeah.
But he kept going. So I mean, I doesn't matter what it is, what your hurdle is.
Right.
I think you have to get to a point where you're doing it because you know that that's what you need to do, and that
Right.
comes across a range of things. If you're doing what you know that you need to do, then it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but it means you're going to have a lot more peace about the way you're going about it.
That's right. I think in understanding that, when you have those hurdles, it's not something that's happening against you. You know what I mean? That, it's not like,
Mhm.
oh shit, this happened, blah, 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 blah. And, poor pitiful me. Instead of, that, maybe going off of a different angle, like why did it happen and what did I learn from it? And then being able to, transfer from that. So that's really
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your next goals and plans besides the tour to the US? Do you have any plans for what is it what is it, Thursday? You don't have a show today, do you? Or it's Wednesday?
No, I don't have a show today. No. Pardon me. I am playing. I'm doing a gig this weekend with a party band called the Dress Up Party. They're playing a little mini festival. They kind of get me in to do some of their bigger shows. So they're flying me down there just to do the show. So that'll be fun. Good group of people down there. I'm still kind of working on demos and all that sort of stuff. I think we probably got one more, possibly two more singles off this record to do. Get this tour out of the way, which will be my first tour in 5 years. Which is, I mean, I was touring pretty heavily there for a while. So first tour in 5 years it's weird to even say that, but yeah, then we'll start working on the next record. So hopefully we can have some new music out next year.
I'd like it if you'd send me some of those over. I'd love to put them on my little morning chat here so we can play it over here and listen.
Absolutely.
So I'll send you my email address to your PM, the one that we were talking on, and then we'll then you can just send them over.
I will send you everything I've got.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Well, I do. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Thanks for having me on. It kind of came out of the blue. So it's really exciting to even be talking about coming over and getting some more exposure over there. It's been kind of a dead patch in many ways for me. I've been focusing on the tribute band. But the original music, the album's out, and we've got videos out and everything, and it's doing what it's doing. But I've always been a doer, so it feels, sometimes I didn't have any interviews, I don't have any shows. It's like, what's going on, So it's really good to just be talking about doing a tour and talking about the album and talking to you in the US. So if you're tuned in.
You're going to come over here and drive all these little American girls crazy with that accent, just so you know. Like, so I hope you be careful. Oh my goodness. Oh, here you go. I'm sorry, Don. It's off to the side, so sometimes I don't see it right away. She says the hopes to see you soon in the States, and she loves you much, friend.
See you very soon as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you make sure you send those over to me. We are gonna play some more live music. I do want to thank you so much for getting on so early in the morning and being bothered by us at like 2:30 in the morning. That was
it was my pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening over there in Florida, and hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But you were always there to catch me. Pick me up when I stumble, set my soul free. You carry me when I'm weary. You carry me when I can't make it. You carry me when I can't try. You carry me onward to victory. You carry me until I die, until I die. You carry me through all my heartaches. You carry me in all my pain. You never left me by my side. You remain. You pick me up, set my soul free when I'm weary. You carry me when I can't make it. You carry me when I can't try. You carry me onward to victory. You carry me until I die, until I die. You carry me when I can't make it. You carry me when I can't try. You carry me onward to victory. You carry me until I die, till I die. Three steps forward, 2 steps back. But you were always there to catch me.